Got something to say? Get in on the conversation at 415-915-2291. That's 415-915-CALL-1.
Welcome to Conspiracies Against Wellness with your host, Jonelle Elgaway.
Good evening. Welcome to Conspiracies Against Wellness. I'm your host, Jonelle Elgaway. Tonight, we have guest co-host Thea Barnes. Thea, how are you tonight?
I'm great. Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. We're so happy to have you too. So tonight and tomorrow, we'll be talking about cyberstalking, Facebook support groups, fake accounts, and bullying. This is a major, major problem. Many of us admit social media is used for much more than sharing a status, update, or news headline. For some, social media accounts can be a quick and easy way to take a peek into somebody's life, whether it is someone you just met, an ex-partner or spouse, or a former acquaintance. While sites like Snapchat, LinkedIn let you know who viewed your profile, pictures or updates, others like Facebook and Twitter do not make this analytics available. There's a growing trend of apps that will give you this data, such as a followers track analytics tool for Instagram. Number 2, Social Stalker Pro, and number 3, Social Picket. These applications let you see who may be watching your social media accounts a little too closely. So Dr. Jeff Skinner, a senior IT academic at University of Newcastle, states a large number of cyberstalkers groomed their victims while social engineering tactics. They look for everyday weaknesses in their prey, and then they build a false trust with them so they can start divulging more and more information. When I found I was diagnosed with a rare and invisible disease, CRPS-RSD, I turned to Facebook groups. I never heard what my doctor diagnosed me with, and soon found out a majority of doctors didn't know what I was going through. So I turned to Facebook groups for this. I also have an issue with a personal stalker that stalked me for like 12, 13 years now. And we're going to be going into this, into my thing, but also what Thea has also gone into. So Thea, can you give us the definition of a Facebook support group and what it is and why we are there doing this?
Well, for the purpose of the show tonight, I think that we decide that we're going to talk mostly about or focus mostly about on the online support groups, which are places that where we're meeting anonymously and we're discussing issues that concern us. The definition of online that says for a Facebook support group is a safe, confidential place where you can go speak to thousands of people living with the same experiences and experiencing the same issues as you. But the problem with the online support groups is that they may not be monitored by medical professionals, and there's a lot of misinformation that is circulating. And the main complaints that I'm hearing about, that people are talking about, it's things like bullying when someone doesn't agree with you, or if they don't agree with the commonly held beliefs that are in that support group. We're looking at mistrust of information that's being shared. People are openly accusing other members of lying and fabricating things. And there's so much erroneous material, like medical information about treatments and cures for things that quite often there is no cure. A lot of the groups that are formed, especially for the medical online support communities, you're looking at people saying there's a cure for something that we have, and this can either scares people because they haven't heard this information, so they start to mistrust their doctors because this isn't being shared with them.
Right.
or they actually are believing that there is a cure, and for $15,000 or whatever, they can go and they can get this magic cure. And
yep, the Neurodrondate infusions, yeah, over in Italy. I mean, we had a show on that, and I know how misleading that is, possibly, or it's a marketing scheme, and that upsets me in that. It's interesting. So when we have the benefits of like a support group are like you feel less lonely, right? You're gaining a sense of empowerment and control. You're improving coping skills. You're talking openly and honestly about your feelings. You're sharing possibly pictures, talking about medications. And what this does is reduce stress, depression, anxiety, or fatigue. And you develop a clearer understanding of what you expect, what's going on with your situation, and you get to compare notes and resources such as what doctors say and alternative options, and that's like the good things in these groups. But I know that you personally have recently gone through something within these Facebook support groups where it wasn't like that, and I was wondering if you can explain a little bit about your situation on that.
Well, my situation is something that was shared by a lot of us back in August, or no, June. It was July, I think, this year. And we met I guess I better go back sort of a little more to the beginning so we can get to the end. When I first found out I had CRPS, I had gone on and I started joining some groups about CRPS so that I could find out more and just sort of have, like you said, have that support and feel like you weren't alone in this scary world of CRPS. And there happened to be somebody who had a couple groups out there at the time, and her name was Kate, which a lot of the listeners are probably going to be able to identify with tonight. We all in some way met Kate, and she was this cute blonde that was always encouraging and asking you to send her your picture, and she'd contact you and she'd have conversations with you in chat, asking how you were, and
always nice, right? Like she's always kind and
the sweetest thing, like truly, truly sweet. She, in the beginning, at least, because I think everybody will say that they started getting quite different messages from her towards the end than what they got in the beginning. But originally, I think all of us would agree that this was somebody that we really just trusted. Right. We trusted her because she looked like us. She looked like, she looked. For me, I'm a mom, so I looked at this picture of her, and she's this cute little blonde, and she's telling you this story that she was 12 years old when she developed. So
you felt very motherly about it, you know?
You felt motherly about it, but also you kind of felt she gives you a false sense of hope as well. You know, you've got this idea that if she could do it,
any of us can, right?
So any of us can. Yeah. So it's, it's that sort of American dream of, okay, you know what I mean?
No, I get it. Yeah.
She's the apple pie, right? She's that girl who's the
next door neighbor. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So you see this beautiful girl, and you see her looking very well, which, as we know, this is like an invisible disease. You can't see what we feel inside. So a lot of people will put us down. So we're getting that from the outside world anyway, right? So when we're going into these groups, we have all this trust where we're like, oh, you know what? We can identify with them. They understand what we're doing. They understand what we're going through. So now we're going to want to be open with them, correct?
Exactly. And initially that was exactly how I felt. She sounded so genuine that you really go, wow, I really hope to achieve the same thing she did. Right. And that was the one thing in her groups, she was the only person who had achieved remission and long-term remission. I'm not talking about just a few months here or there, sporadic remission. This is, I am cured. Okay. I am cured. I am not going back into that world. I am cured.
Did she ever talk about in detail or show pictures or anything of what she had?
Nothing. But if you sort of put the time, but if you sort of put the time period too, there's parts of you that says, well, I can understand maybe not having pictures. She would have been 12 years old, and we're looking at a girl, I can't remember, I think she was like 24 or 26 or something like that. So
how long was her remission?
Her parent may never have been taking photos of her at that time.
Right. How long?
So she,
How long was
I
that
think
then?
she was in, I think she was in remission for like at least 12, 14 years, according to her.
Okay.
And there
Wow.
may be a caller out there a listener who might be able to let us know exactly how old it was that she
Yeah.
said she was and how long she'd been in remission. Unfortunately, that's one of the things about CRPS. It sort of takes away some of
Yeah, we get some
your
brain
direct
fog.
memories of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that brain fog.
Okay, so she's been saying she's 12 to 14 years of remission for CRPS RSD, which I've never honestly heard of. And if that was true, that would be great. But so what happened? Because obviously something changed, and I know within the CRPS RSD community, it became really bad. I mean, a lot of people believed in her, and a lot of people did certain things for her. I want to know what those things that were that she asked of you guys, and I know you were a part of, like, you did the same. You know, you gave a video and stuff. I want to know about what she did. When did it turn first? How did she start changing? And people kind of were like, I know you questioned it, but you know.
Yeah, well, I probably was questioning a lot of it simply because of the fact that the more I was learning about CRPS, and I'm in the community or rather, I have my pain management team. I discuss everything. So if something passes in the group, and I want to know more about it, I go back to my team. You know, if there's something that I feel like I might be missing, you know, when somebody says, well, I tried this and like ketamine or the naproxen or whatever it is, the natural, the other ones that are all out. Yeah, Naradronate. Thank you.
You know
When
what? Even
you hear about these, you go back to your doctor and ask about it,
yeah.
right?
Well,
And so I'm going back to my team. I'm seeing my team twice a week. Mm-hmm. So
quick
I'm
sidebar.
reporting back to them.
Quick sidebar. I know we are talking recently about another group on Facebook that we saw, and you know, we're not going to name names, but you know, you're bringing it up right now. That you know, somebody says they've had it for a year. You look at their pictures from a year ago. You do see something, but you're not sure. And then they've done all these treatments, like all of them. Like that's a red flag to me. If somebody's in a U.S. trial for Naradronate, that's hard to get into, one. And then what else did they do?
Well, it's because so if you go into any clinical trials or anything like that, there is a period that you have to respect. You respect it. You sign that you're going to respect that time period. And you walk into that trial and you try their drug and you only try their drug. You commit yourself to that cure or that drug that is going to control the pain or whatever. You're literally you're going to be part of this, and you commit yourself to it.
Yep.
And I believe that most studies, I could be wrong, and again, I asked people to call us in tonight, but I could be wrong about this, but I believe that most of them are like 52 weeks. So you're looking at a period from the period that you start to the period that you end.
It's like
that
a
they're
year.
taking.
Yeah.
It's a year, and they're taking information from you. So I begin to have doubts about how frequently you can just jump from one trial to another, or if that would even occur, or if your doctor would even be, if that would be professional of him to allow you to be doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know how safe it is to be trying multiple drugs, and I would caution anybody about trying
is that what they're doing?
drugs.
They're trying other drugs with this too, or for this? Because I didn't realize that.
Well, that's if you're going to overlap drugs, automatically you're trying other drugs, right?
Okay. Well, so I didn't know.
There's no way that I'm going to be able to know everything. Let's face it. These are just things that are being discussed in groups and whatnot. But I would feel that it's probably not very responsible for your doctor to allow you to participate in that clinical trial where you're taking that drug and let's try this drug as well. I understand that we have to be aggressive with some drugs, or not drugs, but diseases, because like CRPS, we really do have what many doctors feel is a window.
Right.
So and that window is 1 year. But I think
although Dr. Getson said that that's not even true.
That's it. And I trust I really do trust Dr. Getson's opinion on that. I think that he has the research to back it up. And I know myself, I'm heading towards year 2, but I am still gaining as I go along in my treatment plan. And I know that I am close to remission, or I'm close to pain control.
Yeah.
where my pain levels are going to be down at as low as it's going to be. And I really have learned how to master that technique, and I'm getting closer to it every day.
Well, and if you remember, I asked him what is really remission, and he said, you know what? If you have less pain, if you're on less medicine, if you're having a quality of life that you haven't had previously to what happened to you, that is remission. And
Yeah.
and I have to agree, because like I've been out of remission now for the last 2-3 months, and it really stinks. But when I was in it, it was such a different life. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
know the difference, like I wasn't on any medications. I could go and do pretty much whatever I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. And now it's more of a minute to minute type of lifestyle again. And that's the thing, though, with what we have, and I believe with what other, talking with like the gastroparesis community and all the other
Yes.
communities, you go in and out of these things, but it's never constant. So when I hear one that says there's a cure for something, and we all know it isn't, and I would stay away from those groups, And the other thing is,
they definitely are. I don't know if we necessarily have to stay away from them, but I think that we need to be more questioning. When we're in a support group, we really do need to feel that, okay, if this is a support group, if I put a question out there that I'm having doubts about something, or can you explain that further? Nobody should but discourage you from that.
I guess the thing is like, why are we not
open discussion?
Right, but why? You're right. Because I know the one group we're talking about, they just want positive stuff in it and whatever. And then, let's PM me and we'll talk about more in depth, and I'll tell you what you should do.
So this too, I sort of start getting a little bit worried. Once we're going to plan on talking more about the different types of stalkers and whatnot once we finish our story about Kate. But just to go into this for just a second, when we're talking about, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Hey, Thea, would you mind?
There's so many thoughts, right?
Yeah, no, I know. We have a caller. Is that? Oh, we have 2 callers.
Great.
Okay. Can we have the callers on, Brian? Give us a second here. Ready? Caller from area code. I don't know. I don't have him up on my thing, babe.
It should be there now.
Okay. Nope.
205.
Oh, caller from area code 205. What's your name and where are you from?
Susan Pierce.
Hi, Susan Pierce. How are you?
Hi.
Hey, how are you? Doing great. How are y'all doing tonight?
We're doing good.
Great. It's nice to hear from you.
Yeah. So what's going on?
Good. Yeah, I'm an ex-pharmaceutical rep. I'm ex-biotech, cardiovascular, respiratory, and I was in a car wreck for 5 years and recovered and gotten off 14 medications, one being Oxycontin. And it's just a whole illusion of the allopathic world. And now that I've lost 145 pounds and all 14 medications, I'm trying to go back and be a naturopath doctor. And I'm doing a lot of advocacy work towards, rights for vaccinations, rights of people not to want to be putting, things in or on their body that they don't want in their bodies, which I think should be a God's sovereign right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want poison in my body. And being trained in ex-biotech, I know the thermosil, I know the mercuries, I know the toxicity. I myself almost died. I had, Hashimoto's and fibromyalgia, was 20 years bedridden where I couldn't even take a shower, guys. My nerves were so inflamed. So I understand toxicity. So when you have the knowledge and then you have the 20-year lifespan that I had of literally fighting depression and anxiety and going, God, if this is living, I really don't want to do this. I mean, if we want to be honest. Yeah. And I learned that I had to grow my food and get the toxic and get the inflammation under control. And now I'm trying to go out and teach, hey, let's go back to the garden. Let's go back and eat paleo-type food and get off the sugars and don't drink the fluoride. And I've had a lot of harassment and a lot of, especially trolls coming into my pages, creating problems. I've had people that I can't block off my page, which really upsets me. I have strangers that are able to be on my page without my permission. I'm having videos removed. I'm having black helicopters fly below tree lines. I'm having alarm systems go off that weren't set. Police dropped by my house saying my alarm system went off when it was not set. Peeping Toms, my neighbors saw people looking in my windows. So I have another friend whose apartment she's also at pharmaceuticals, Wanda Hughes, real big in the anti-vax movement with Bill Big Tree. Her daughter was vaccinated injury, and she has gotten all kind of issues too. It's stalking. It's
Yeah.
It's surveillance.
Well, Susan, first of
It's
all,
torture.
I want to say congratulations on losing, was it 145 pounds?
Wow.
145 pounds.
Dang, girl.
Yes.
That's awesome.
All natural.
Awesome.
It took me 2 years.
A second of all,
2 years of really blood, sweat, and tears.
I know. And we talk a lot. And by the way, I'm going to give you a plug. So we have Eden's Living, and she's going to be on our network. So Susan,
Thanks, girl.
yeah, I cannot wait to have you on our network.
Very
You're going to do
excited.
awesome.
Very excited.
Yes, so are we.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I have a question. Can
Thank
you
you.
define what a troll is, Susan? What is a troll?
A troll is actually, guys, there's actually a segment of the population, they hire these lower than educated people to just troll people's pages and to be instigators to absolutely, if you put videos up, they'll remove them. If they put videos up, they'll mark it as spam or they'll do derogatory marks. They'll instigate fights and counter whatever opinion I'm trying to get across. They counteract that with instigation to try to draw up arguments.
Yeah.
It's deception for the one of making people argue, and then you get arguments, and then they totally get distracted from the teachings of, hey, y'all are getting poisoned, and you're toxic, and you're getting surveillance. Y'all, the frequencies. I'm a quantum healer. I do an intuitive healing, use essential botanicals and detoxes and sun therapies. And guys, they're using microwaves and radio waves. Even your own phone, if you go into the legal settings, your own cell phone tells you 5 feet is what they recommend. Your laminin, which holds the cells of your body together, is why when people wear their Fitbits and their little brain stems, their Wi-Fi's around their neck, guys, that's microwaves that are absolutely affecting your brainwaves.
Well, Susan,
your emotions.
I'm so excited that you called in tonight because I know October is Cyberstalking Awareness Month, and we are going to have you back along with PIs and professionals that do this stuff and tell you how to, well, first of all, to talk about gang stalking, because that's what's going on with you, gang stalking.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting gang stalked. I'm getting threatened. I have people contacting people I work with. I have people contacting my doctor. You have autoimmune problems, and they're trying to make it sound like, well, she's crazy. My doctor's like, no, my patient's actually quite sane and has adrenal failure from, I was in an abusive relationship too, and that has a whole nother show that we could do on narcissistic abuse.
And not only that,
But
though,
they
too, your court case too, though. I mean, that was just nuts. And
I was assaulted.
Yep.
Yeah, I was assaulted, and the court can't even file it correct, and I've yet to go into a court of law that's heard a sexual
And who were you
assault.
assaulted by? Who were you assaulted by? It was a doctor, right?
I was assaulted. It was a colonics owner. I had gone with a friend and found out they were illegally massaging this man, and walked in on them, and they weren't in a gown, and I called them, and I'm like, look, why are you not in a gown, and what are you doing in here? If it's a colonics place, you set the person up in the system, and you walk out of the room. My friend had been in there 10 minutes, and the back of my hairs was like going, oh, there's something wrong. Walk in, and she don't have a bra on and a white thong.
Yeah.
And I call him on it. And he, you get out of the room, you go in the other room, and he comes in and assaults me. And then that person uses people on Facebook to threaten, stalk, and harass me. Guys, it makes you isolated.
Yep.
They try to make people make you feel crazy, and then when you get isolated and you feel like you can't trust anybody, that's when the gang stalking, when it really gets turned up.
Yep. Well, and
I
honestly,
agree.
I feel like what is going on with you is at another level, which is what we're going to be having shows on in October about, because that's just nuts.
Oh, absolutely. I can hear a frequency. I have through 10 cell phones in 7 months. I have been burned by my cell phone. I have been shocked by my cell phone, and I have pictures of blisters. They can hit you with energy weapons. I've been dealing with someone that had a neuro implant. She says they see everything I see. They say I'm getting burned on my skin, and it's microwaves. And I'm like going, oh my gosh, that could be an energy weapon. That could be satellites. That could be microwaves. That could be, anything.
Well, Susan,
I apologize. My neighbor just...
No, it's cool. Thank you so much for calling in and telling your story.
Yes, thank you for sharing. Yeah, I can't wait to hear more about her.
Exactly. And we can't wait to have you back on.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we can't wait to have you back in October.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Keep doing and keep good work. Keep just telling the truth, making people aware of, what's going on. And there are a lot of shysters out there, guys. Someone who's been 20 years sick trying to find, I just want to get healed.
Yep.
And there are a lot of charlatans out there, a lot of paid trolls, a lot of harassment done. Yes, and they don't want the truth out. They've killed 150 microbiologists that's linked vaccines and autism. They've killed 86 naturopaths, which I'm going to school to be.
Yep.
Guys were walking in the fire.
Well, we had
But you
doctors
gotta
on.
tell truth.
Yeah,
It's evil.
we had doctors on. They've been threatened, and also they've had friends that have died. I personally know a doctor that died in that too. It's really sad, and this is going on, and this is a real thing, and people need to know about this. I know Erin Elizabeth or Erin McCall. She writes on this a lot too. So yeah, she's the one that actually broke this a few years back, I think.
A naturopath just got shot. That was the 4th of July. I called her to disturbance outside her home, went outside to meet the police, and they shot her.
Yeah.
Shot her. Wow. And it's a murder. It's come back as a murder investigation. She was a naturopathic doctor on the 4th of July calling for protection. And I've had a little run-in. I don't want to get into that, but I've had some run-in with the police myself. I'm not going to talk about that because I don't want
Susan,
another level of harassment.
We're going to have Eden's Living on our network. We cannot wait to have you on. And we're going to have you back on in October so you could tell your story in detail because I think this is an important thing to do. Yeah. So thanks for calling in tonight.
Absolutely. Very important. Okay. All right, y'all. Thanks. And rock on. Have a good night, guys.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
So everything that Shet's say, it's all the type of harassment that people are finding, and this either if it's through cyber gang harassment or the cyber gang stalking, or if it's just the type of cyber bullying that people go through when they're in a support room. But if we can go back to Kate for a second and finish that up, and then maybe we can get on something more important that really does concern more what she's talking about. But Kate, she was somebody who asked us to send pictures to her of our CRPS affected limb. So everybody did. And initially she was very sweet about it. She'd ask you to just send it all to her privately. And she didn't ask us for videos or anything. And she just always continued to, keep it up, and don't worry, you're going to get better and all that. But it was at one point she suddenly started changing in this past year. And I think a lot of the people who are listening probably remember this. But suddenly she decided she was going to have a video group. Mm-hmm. And in this video group, it was going to be different. Yeah. And anybody who wanted to join, she asked them to join. Now, I didn't join. I'm so busy with everything
Thea,
I'm doing.
Thea,
yes.
we have like a ton of calls. Do you mind if we go into them and we'll come back?
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Maybe it'll go into this.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hi, area code from 734. What's your name and where are you from?
Why you trying to talk to me? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Hello? Okay. I don't know what that was. I am so sorry.
There's one
Somebody
of the
gets a tip jar. Oh my goodness.
We have an example of cyberbullying. This is where people will be aggressive with us and start using aggressive words to start fights.
I apologize about that. I didn't expect that.
This is perfect. This is exactly what we're talking about.
Okay, we'll go back in.
These are people who are doing this, and this type of thing that we're listening to, people calling in, is exactly the same type of thing that happens in the groups.
That's true.
Except that it happens in chat, and it happens when you send out a response to someone else's post or anything like that. This is the type of bullying that starts to occur. Right. So it's pretty nice that she actually did this for us. Thank you so much. We got an example, but this is exactly that. It is cyberbullying, and it's amazing how people feel very confident when they're anonymous, whether it be by telephone or whether it be by text.
Yeah, or emails or through support groups or whatever. So, and by the way, if I interrupt you, I apologize, but we did have a lot of callers and then they dropped off. So I'm going to try to do that because I feel bad because except for the one.
No, that's okay. More than anything.
Yeah.
So like I say, if we're going back to Kate.
Yes, go back to Kate.
She started this group. It was a video group. And
what was it called? Actually, no, we shouldn't say it. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, but it was this group that was people. She encouraged people to post a video, and in this video she wanted to see you pushing past your pain limits. And the one thing about anybody who deals with chronic pain, we are taught to learn how to control our chronic pain. We're taught how to understand that we can go just a little bit beyond, but we have to stop at a place where we feel comfortable to bring it back down.
Right.
So she was asking us not to do that. She was asking us to send her a video of pushing past your threshold of pain, because this was where you were going to have a cure. And
so like to desensitize you, like
Yeah, well, she had the desensitization too, where she asked someone to she asked to use sandpaper, and maybe she meant
on
the
their
real
affected
nice
limb,
paper.
correct? Like so she
limb.
wanted you
But that's
to.
not something though that isn't we're not asked to do sandpaper per se, but I've been told to take a sponge and use both sides of the sponge.
You've been told this by your doctor?
Yes, actually by my pain management team. But we graduate to those degrees of tissue. Like I suffer from allodynia. So in the beginning, my first piece of anything that touched me was a piece of fur, animal fur. And it wasn't initially on even my CRPS arm. It was on my opposite arm. It was touching on my other arm so that my brain started to register, well, animal fur, it doesn't hurt. So if anything that you could rub on your unaffected limb, eventually you're supposed to be able to rub on your other limb. But to ask people who have never gone through desensitization, who have never gone through the steps of graded motor imagery, and ask them to go and take a piece of rough sandpaper, you don't do that.
Yeah.
You just don't do that. So this is things that she started asking, but she was very aggressive about it. If you wanted to stay in her group, you better post a video, or else she was going to put you out of the group.
Hey, Thea, we have a caller.
Yes.
Quick, sorry, we'll come right back to it. Caller from 734. What's your area code? 734. What's your name and where are you from?
Hi, this is Suzanne Stewart from Canton, Michigan. Hi, Jonelle.
Hi, Suzanne. How are you?
Hi, Thea.
Hi.
Hi,
Nice to hear you.
Thanks for calling in.
Hi, honey.
So what's going on?
I wanted to call and
Yeah.
No, I was just calling to check in and see what I've been listening to Susan and then Thea, and and just I went and got a proclamation for Pain Awareness Month and just got back and wanted to.
Yay.
I've been listening for about 40 minutes or so.
Well, good for you. We're so happy you did that. Would you like
We're
to?
presently talking about. We're presently talking about Kate. I'm sure you remember the story as much as I do, and probably have a few other memories
I wrote an article
from other people.
And I wrote an article on the National Pain Report for that. And they were very thankful for that article. A lot of people didn't know about it outside of our little circle. And when the National Pain Report gets it, a lot more people get to know about it. So I try to put it on there to let more people be aware.
Yep, absolutely.
That's it. We have to do awareness. We have to make sure that people understand how these support groups are supposed to be running. And it's not with misinformation, and it's not with doing dangerous acts against our body. It's...
And people need to understand, too, when you run a group and you ask them questions when they want to join the group, they shouldn't get upset. I don't ask anything personal. I just try to tell them that I vet all prospective new members, and I try to ask them questions. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Make sure that your send messages are open. You don't have to be my friend on Facebook, but I have to be able to send you messages. And I have to be able to see some regular pictures on your page somehow. Just for a few days, let me see some real pictures of family or you or what. They're not fake pictures or just memes or whatever, but try to get to know them a little bit before I let them in my group. And some people get very angry and say, I'm not going to tell you, I'm in pain, I don't feel like telling you my story. And I say, well, that's your privilege. You can, this is a really safe group, and you'll be safe too when you're in my group. So it'll make you happy when I do this to other people.
Right. And
I
remember.
And I'm very confident. Try to be.
Yeah, I remember we were talking, and we were just giving an example of it.
Her.
No, I could hear her still. Suzanne, can you hear me?
I'm here.
Okay, good. No, I remember when you were, we were talking one time, and you were saying, yeah, this girl didn't want to answer questions. I don't understand. This is a support Facebook group for, I think it was CRPS, correct?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Uh-huh.
And if anybody cannot take the time to answer in a sentence even, like, hey, this, or I have this, or this is how I feel, yeah, that gives you a red flag, and I agree with you on that. Like, that's an important thing to think about, especially with moderators on Facebook groups and stuff, because there's a lot of people out there that are going to these groups for help, and for support.
And I find out from people what they want out of the group, and if it's not what I have, then I tell them, because sometimes people will say, well, I just want to know what different medicines people are on so I can, find a different medicine. And I say, well, we're not allowed to talk about medicines, names of medicines in my group. If you want to talk about it in a private message, that's fine, but we don't talk doctors' names, and we don't talk names of medications and stuff like that.
Can you tell us why sorry, Susan, can you tell us why you chose that? Because a lot of people don't understand that that's not necessarily the right thing to be doing, is talking about your medications in group. And
the reason is because people have been found. People find out where you live, and they go to your house, and they break in and they take your medication because they know what you're on and how much you're on.
Right, especially with opiates.
Talk out in a big group.
Yep.
Right, especially with opiates. Mm-hmm. And people have actually had this happen. I know a guy that reads my column who actually asked Ed Coughlin, the editor of National Pain Report, for my phone number, and they wrote me and asked me if he could talk to me, and I said yes, and he said that his medicine got stolen and stuff, and I said that's why I don't say it in my groups. I don't talk about it. I don't let people give doctors' names either, because it puts doctors in jeopardy. Like if they think one person gets pain medicine, doctors don't give medicine to everybody. There might be someone that's been on it 20 years and it's working well for them, so they let them do it. But then someone else needs to try everything else first, like I did. You know what I mean? It's just how it has to work.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sue.
I'm sorry, Jonelle. Susan, have you been in any clinical studies? And do you know how they work?
No, I have.
No, okay.
I have long QT syndrome and so many allergies and immune deficiency disease. So there's really lots of medications that I can't take. But I had 8 years of physical therapy and occupational therapy and speech therapy because I had a brain injury, and I've tried every medicine. When I did I just did a multiple choice test thing for U.S. Pain Today, and it was secret for just them. But and they asked me some questions like that, oh my God, I've tried this, yep, I've tried that, yep, I've tried these shots, I've had the epidurals, I've the pain clinic's done boom, 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 everything, and I'm not a candidate for a spinal cord stimulator or a pain pump or any of those things because of the immune deficiency. I could be paralyzed and get an infection or something. So I have it's a very low dose of something, and it works well for me, and it helps me be out in the community and be able to do things. And it's not my first choice. It's my very last choice. But I can't have ketamine. I can't have so many things I can't have.
So Suzanne, I have a question for you. So, because this is about cyber stalking and people harassing within the Facebook groups. So, what personally has happened to you? What and how did it affect you? What did it make you feel like when it happened? Because I know we spoke about this one-on-one, but I would like our listeners to know about it, if that's okay.
Yeah. Give me a hint which experience you're talking about.
Okay, so it was when we were all on, we were doing the personal private messenger chat with a whole bunch of people because, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we were talking, well, that was when was that when we were talking about Kate?
It was
all that
Kay, because you didn't know about it. Remember, you were offline for a while, and I sent it to you, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know about it," and I don't know who created that group, but I was involved in it. And then something happened to me.
Yeah, I know what I was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, now I know what you mean. There's a girl actually called me crying, and how it affected my groups is that I had people that were accused of being Kate, and they were crying to me on a video message, so I know who they are, and I knew who they were before. And they were crying, and they're like, I'm being accused. Everybody freaked out and started accusing everybody else of being Kate. And they didn't know who. It was hurting a lot of people because you have to be careful that you know who it is before you start accusing, because it's just not a good thing.
And I think that's a great point, because I think a lot of people have gotten paranoid, and when it happens to you, you get scared. Suddenly you don't trust anybody, and we're here.
You don't trust anybody.
Yes, and we're opening up to people and telling people about real experiences with ourselves that we don't even probably share with family members or somebody closest to us in real life, because they just don't understand it. And so we're on right now doing this with people, and then when they take that and do something like that, it's hard, but I agree with you. We can't openly, and I know
I understand why.
Right, but we have to be careful of being too paranoid. I think about, when somebody friend requests me, I feel bad, when I'll ask my friends or something, hey, do you know this person? If they're mutual friends, like, do you really know them or something? Because I want to know, is this a real person or not? Because I have been a victim of this, and I want to know if this is a person or not. And it's scary. It's so scary. I mean, and I know there's so many of us that go through it. Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody who hasn't been stalked at some point in their life, whether it be online or a former boyfriend or girlfriend or, you know, even a friend who you stop speaking to, or, you know, I think that everybody has had an experience of something like that. But it's the way to handle it, or just to take back your control in those circumstances. And it's so true. We all got really scared, and I don't know if necessarily scared, but we kind of felt really betrayed. Like, everybody wondered what Kate did with all the pictures, and she took thousands upon thousands of pictures.
Or a guy, or
well, that's it. We don't know.
Or a group of people. It could have been a group of people.
Oh, that's it. It could be a group of people.
It could be a team of people.
Yeah, because as busy as she was, she was very busy. She had a lot of friends. She had a lot of followers within all of her groups. I think there was like 7,000 people. This is the thing I don't understand.
You know what else?
What?
She also had 3 years of where she got to know people 2 or 3 years before she started all the crap. You know,
I was just going to say the same thing.
Because she advanced to something.
She earned everybody's trust first.
Yep.
Exactly. And that's where a definition of actually stalker comes from. One of them is that intimate stalker. She did get intimate with all of the people in the groups. She contacted you. She asked how you were. She asked how your kids were. She was concerned about you. The fact that she wanted to see something that a lot of people consider to be very ugly.
Her face, did she?
No.
Well, she never did a video.
No, all we ever saw was her profile picture, but she would contact everybody through Messenger.
But Thea, wasn't that her downfall?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Thea, didn't you start asking her? Didn't you start asking her?
I asked, but also owner of another Facebook group, she was in this group as well, and she asked her as well. And because people started to say, well, can you send us an inspirational video? You know, okay, we get that you're cured, because she was like, no, I can't. I'm cured. I don't have CRPS anymore. But people were like, yeah, but we want to hear from you how you did it. So just give us a video.
You can get remission, but you can't be cured. It only goes into remission. It's not cured.
Well, that's exactly it. But she sold that idea. And let's face it, as anybody who has a rare disease or something that's incurable, we all want to hear that there's a cure, and we'd like to believe that. There's a part of us that want to believe the doctor's wrong too, right?
Yeah. Yes.
We want to think, well, they don't know everything, you know. So and we've all.
I must think a couple people got upset with me for writing the article on the National Pain Report, and I wasn't quite sure why. They said the comments that I got by a couple people, but they were saying, you know, why spread this out to more people? Why let more people
about Kate,
or whatever? And I thought, you know what? Yeah, and knowledge is power. You need to have more, you know,
right?
More people know about it.
Well, this is the thing.
That's what we're doing the show for tonight.
I mean, this is the thing with Kate, is she preyed upon people. She took you in. She made you, like, she established a trust, right? Then, like, she started questioning things. She pushed people to start doing more and more. Then she wanted people privately to send stuff to her. Then she didn't want people private. She wanted you to send videos of your arms, hands, whatever, affected limbs. Then she wanted to tell you what you should be doing and pushing through stuff. Like, we all know there's a good pain and a bad pain, and the bad pain is you don't push through it. And I feel like she was pushing people through that.
No.
And the people within.
And anytime you get that little feeling in your heart or your mind, and something's wrong, take it. Go with it.
Yes, a gut feeling. If you feel it and there's something off, listen to it, because every gut feeling I've ever had was right, and I didn't.
Absolutely.
I didn't listen all the time. You're so right, Suzanne. So
I think though that's the whole thing though, is trust your gut feeling, but also allow yourself to question. I think that in your group you'd be allowing people to question any post that is put up, right, Suzanne? It's not something that you say no.
I also will video chat. I'll video
that's
chat
it.
Anyone who wants to, you know.
So
that's
people
smart.
are encouraged. Yep.
Yeah.
But people are encouraged to share their differences of beliefs And we're supposed to be able to do this safely in a group. We're not supposed to put our thought on a text and say, well, I believe this about this post, or and then have 10 people bully you to submission where you go, okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I shouldn't believe that, and that should not be occurring in groups.
When you have a group moderators or a group administrators, that's why I'm the only administrator for all of my groups, but I have a couple moderators that people will help me with, like new people or whatever. But if I see anything wrong and I can't get to it or whatever, I take it off and then I talk to the people privately, or I make a group post, and so I'm not pinpointing one person unless it's something horrible. But if it's something just little, like a GoFundMe page or something like that or whatever, I can put up a major, just like a post for everybody and say, by the way, everybody, don't forget, we don't do that in this group, blah, blah, blah. Read the rules again. Or
smart. That's
but
smart.
Mostly you try to do it in private. And when you have too many cooks in the kitchen and everybody doesn't know what the other one's doing, that's when those big groups that have like 5 or 10 people doing the moderating or whatever, that's when it gets a little bit difficult. I think it's best to just keep it to like 1 or 2 people that can have the reins, and then if you want some helpers, I don't know, but it just, to me, that's what I've found, because when I've had too many people help me, it just makes, I don't know what's going on, and then I find someone in my group that I don't know, and I'm like, wait a minute, that person shouldn't be in here. They don't even know what the RSD is.
Right. No, you know what, that's right, because like, I mean, even in my group that I have a group and a page, and the page is for CAW, but the group is for wellness and stuff. I get it. Like, I mean, and Thea is my, actually I made her another admin because I trust her that much, but rarely would I mean, I needed somebody else. Yeah, I needed somebody else to help me though with this, because when they get so big, you can't do it all on your own, and you can't like, look at everything.
Well, my international group has 1,000, well, no, like 700 people, I guess. Now. But I'm still the only administrator, but I have other people be moderators, which a moderator can do everything that an administrator can do, but an administrator can kick you off your own page.
Yes,
so
and
I
that's
try
smart.
Not to have
Yeah.
But if you trust someone that much, that's great. Yeah. That's really good. But I get nervous to do that. I don't know why.
Thanks, Thea. I trust it. No, but I totally understand.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, but I totally understand that, because like, people have asked like, why don't you? All right, so in my group, I don't like people ranting, and I'm sorry, it's just every group I'm in on whatever, I see it. So I was like, I want something different from that. And I would get blocked from groups if I posted stuff that were positive. Like when I found something, when I went into remission, I got blocked from 6 groups when I put it out on on groups. And I'm just like,
some people want to be miserable.
It hurt me so much. It really hurt me. And I mean, this is a part of it too, actually. This isn't like so much cyberstalking, but it's like, man, you know what? We're all in the same boat here. And you're actually blocking me, like, because I'm posting something.
In my group,
yeah,
people would be happy for you. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. I don't understand. That's not nice at all.
No,
you should get encouragement and be happy. And it doesn't, I think that some people, like I got a nasty message in my inbox, my private message, when I was doing that happy challenge for U.S. Pain.
Yes.
Someone wrote and said, that's your happy challenge, not my happy challenge. I just passed by it. I'm not going to, they were just like writing all these things. I'm like, that's fine. You don't have to look at it. I'm sorry that it offended you, but, you can try to participate and maybe it will make you feel better. Post happy things.
This
the
is
more
the thing.
You try to be happy, the more
Yeah. No, this is the thing though. And look, I can relate to people that are like that, because seriously, in 2007 and 8, which I wasn't on Facebook groups then, I don't know if was Facebook around then? I don't know. But like MySpace.
I think it was.
Yeah. But I didn't know about it. But I was so miserable and depressed. I was like that. And I pushed away all my family, friends, everybody, And it wasn't until I found out I had CRPS in 2015, although I've had it since 2009. But it was like the first thing I got that nobody knew anything about. So when you Googled it, it was like nobody knew about it, or it was like saying all these horrible things. So that's why I was pushed to go to Facebook support groups, because I didn't know what this was. I wanted to understand it better. When you Google it, it scares you. It says, oh, it's the suicide disease. You're going to die. Yeah, it's the worst pain in the world. And I was freaking out. I didn't, I knew I had it for years, but I didn't know what it was. So when I read it, I'm like, but this is the thing. So when you have your support groups and stuff like that, like I mean, even when I have put on shows for CRPS with Dr. Getson, who is like the, CRPS person, and I didn't even put it on Facebook groups. I asked the moderators and I said, "Hey, can you post this on there, or can I post this on your group about Dr. Getson? He's coming on. He's going to talk about CRPS." I was blocked by 3 people from moderators from the group.
I put that all over the place. I loved it.
I didn't understand.
Oh,
I know,
absolutely.
but like, why would you do that when I'm trying to help our groups, our communities?
Why would anybody want to block information for people? That's helpful information from somebody that's so intelligent.
But we've talked about this before, though. This is a way that people control their groups. Group owners, if they're in a negative mind frame, and that's the way they want things to be. Their mindset.
They're negative.
I agree.
But
this has happened.
Sometimes this gives them power, though, because if I truly believe that doctors are the reason that I had spread and that things didn't go right and they didn't give me the right treatments or they didn't react soon enough or I got the wrong diagnosis to begin with and then I got another diagnosis but time lapsed, I think a lot of people get angry and upset. And this can rebound into these type of groups because I think this is where we see a lot of the negative in groups. Whenever we see those groups that are really angry people, exactly, it's the mindset.
I didn't hear Suzanne.
That.
What did Suzanne say?
Oh, sorry,
that's okay. What did you say, Suzanne?
People that are negative, they bond with other negativity, and it grows, and it just keeps spreading more negativity. And like people, even like when I write my articles and I write positive stuff, people get kind of mad at me sometimes too, and they'll say something like, "Oh, you can't be that sick if you can do all this U.S. pain stuff." And that. I said, "You know what? Go look at the picture of me at that when I got certified and I went to Connecticut this summer. They were like, 'Well, how can you travel? How can you do?' Well, I take my caregiver with me, my husband, and you know what? They brought beds in for me. I laid in a bed the whole day that I was getting taught.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's pictures of me laying on the bed, and it's like they make you get help. You can do a lot more if you ask for help.
So this is the thing, though, I'm noticing.
You need to ask for help.
This is the thing I'm noticing, though. I'm noticing, okay, so we have people that like Misery Loves Company. So we have those people, right? And we have groups, sometimes they're leaders or admins that do that, which I've seen personally. And then we have people, though, that are preying upon people within these groups, Yeah,
well, that's it.
And I want to know, what are they getting from it? Yeah, everything. It's a lot more than that, believe me.
They feel superior, I think.
Yes.
I think sometimes they feel superior. It makes them feel like if they've had it longer or they think they know more or they've been through more, they can
But what about the
people person and mentor them?
What about the people, though, that don't have it and are just there, and I don't know why. I can't understand it.
I think, though, that there is profit to be made.
I suspect a few of those in my groups right now, people that don't have it and they just don't have any friends. They have no family, no friends, and nowhere to go, and they pretend to be sick because that's some place that makes them feel wanted and needed. And you know what? If they want to be
acceptance.
If I find out, I would kick them out. But you know what? They're not doing anything bad in my group, so I can't kick them out right now.
I agree with you because I know a few people that I'm like looking at, like I'm kind of looking at a little bit sideways because, like, one, I don't know. They'll say they have it, but then they don't. Then it's just like I see what they're doing, but I can't judge because I do
understand that there could be the undiagnosed as well. That's a whole other story.
That's where
people who are undiagnosed. But I think a lot of the groups, though, people are also in it. If you find that they don't have it, but they're really trying to sell you a vitamin or a lifestyle and contact me and I'm going to help you
make a program up for you.
I think there's profit to be found in these places too.
I take somebody right out of my group right away. If somebody sells anything on my group, I take them out right away and talk to them about it later.
So can I be really honest?
Nobody's allowed to sell anything.
Can I be really honest? So, and this is terrible, and oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed to admit it. So over a year ago, I met this guy, and he said he's this holistic guru and blah, blah, blah. And anyway, I got into essential oils. Loved it. I did. And it did help me. It helped my fiance, and it helped him. Or helped me. And it was part of my program of what I did to go actually into remission for a period of time. It was like I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months. And then I went out and then I went back in for another 2 months or 3 months. But the thing is I know what you're saying and I didn't get it. And he was like pushing, and I'm talking on a side of, man, I didn't even like, I know Thea, you're like, I didn't know about this about you. But like, seriously, like I was pushed, hey, sell this. It was a multi-level marketing thing. I was a, what do you call them?
Oh my God, a pyramid scheme.
Yes. Well, but
Yes,
it's legal. It's multi-marketing thing. They call it now. But so I was with Young Living.
Yeah.
I do. And but believe me, I mean, Suzanne, I've talked to you about Young Living products. I wanted to send you something something I found that worked for me. Actually, I believe in it. But you're right. So this guy he was like ahead of me and like got me into this. He pushed me and he was like, hey, you need to push this in the groups that you're doing. And I honestly think a little bit now, like I'm looking, like, I mean, I have not even talked about this to anybody, but I'm looking and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you know what? He was pushing me to do this because he knew I was a good target. You know, I was in all these groups. I have a real thing going on. And so...
because stalking isn't just sexual stalking, too. Eh? There's also another type of stalking. This is that type of stalking where they're a predator. They see you and they go, yes.
Well, but it was...
And you have those old friends that try to find you, and they go in the inbox and they message you and they say, hey, I want to join your group. And then you go, why? You're not sick, are you? No, but I sell this great stuff or whatever, or stuff like that.
Well, that's it. Opportunist.
Right.
It's an opportunity stalker.
And that's how I felt with this guy. I mean, he was an opportunist, and I was doing this, and it happens with a few other things. I can't talk about it right now, but I will eventually, probably. But it's really, really. I'm sorry, I can't. Not yet.
Oh,
it's too new.
It happens whether it's medication. It happens whether it's diet. It happens whether it's and right now we are bombarded in a lot of our groups with vitamins and different
supplements,
probiotics, and supplements that you can take, and
natural remedy.
We're constantly hearing it, or lights, or buy this light. I don't know are they making money off of it? I don't know. Are they just advertising? Who knows? But it's like,
right,
wow.
So
I don't have any of that in my group.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's because you're running your group as a support group.
So I had an ex-co-host, by the way, that he was supposed to be my co-host, and I don't know if he's listening right now. And I'm not sure exactly how this went down, but this is how I took it, and it was hard for me. So we became friends because he was one of these people. He was a guru of holistic stuff, right? And he got me into these essential oils, and I really I put everything into this. I changed my diet, I changed my exercise program, I changed my mentality. I went off all my meds, and I started doing essential oils, and I did find I was able to go into remission, but I also did ketamine infusions and stuff like that. And he was way against anything medicine-wise. And so I visit him in March because we needed pictures of all of us together for the show that we were going to be coming up with. And when I literally drove from Thursday till Monday, like 24/7 almost. And I came back and I was in such a bad flare. I've never had a bad flare like that since since this started, like years ago. And I went and got a ketamine infusion, and like I was down for a few days, and when I came back, he's like, what's been going on? And I told him what I did, and he's like, you lied. You told everybody you were off all medicines. And I'm like, whoa, I was off all medicines, dude. And I'm like, you don't understand what it's like to deal with an actual like disease and health issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a place for medicine.
Yep.
There is a place for medicine
Yes,
sometimes.
absolutely.
And
absolutely.
And
it's to make sure though that people are getting the correct information. If you're talking about it in support groups, you're talking it in online chat rooms.
Never take anybody's advice unless you talk to your legitimate pain doctor or your regular primary doctor or some real
great point.
Certified
Everybody, absolutely.
Yes, there's a lot of.
There's no reason you can't take back the information.
No, there's a lot of self-diagnosis in these groups.
I told my doctor that somebody was making these videos and said that don't tell your doctor. And the first clue is don't tell anybody.
Don't tell him.
Tell your doctor they're wrong.
Right, or PM me, and we could talk about it all in PMs.
Well, absolutely. But again, if people are sharing, because a lot of people do ask. And that is what a support room is for. That's what a support group is for. We're supposed to ask, has anyone tried blank? And everybody's supposed to be able to come back and say, yes, I tried it, it didn't work for me, or yes, I tried it, but we're not supposed to be telling people though that
we're not supposed to self-diagnose. We're not supposed to,
or self-diagnose, or no, go take it. If your doctor won't give it to you, go find a doctor who'll give it to you. You may have one of the best doctors in the world. Ask him why he won't give it to you. There, you're very lucky. But
Suzanne, I'm sorry. Oh, no, hang on, Suzanne. I'm sorry. We didn't hear Suzanne. What did you say?
I said that I have a disclaimer on my group at the beginning too. When you look at my page of the group page where the rules are, it says that this is not a replacement or any kind of medical advice. I'm not a medical personnel. I'm just a support person. And anything I say is not any kind of advice or anything. It's just my own experiences or whatever. And you need to ask your own doctor or whatever, something like that.
And absolutely.
The first clue, you were talking about that, Kate, and cyberbullying and all that stuff. And what I was just going to mention was the first clue is when someone tells you not to tell somebody, then that's wrong. Or if someone says, if you tell your doctor what I'm telling you, he's going to say that it's wrong. Like, and I heard that's what she did. And if they say that, it's wrong. Yeah. That's just wrong. It's like telling a little child, don't tell your mommy this because it's wrong.
Or the minute people start mentioning cures. The minute people also mention cures. I think for me, that's one of the things that gets my feathers ruffled immediately. Every single person who's ever been diagnosed, if you have an incurable disease, if you hear that word cure, run. There is no cure because your doctor would let you know.
There's this one lady that tried to be friends with me, and when I got to know her, she was just all about wanting to be my friend because of my illnesses, it seemed like, and she wanted to hang out with me just because of those, and she wanted to be a part of the groups, and she told me that she had CRPS, but it was totally gone. She only had it for like 6 months, and then she never got it again. I'm like, that's not CRPS.
No.
It's not. This is not.
No.
It had to be something else. I'm sorry.
That's somebody craving intimacy. That's somebody who is a stalker of that sort. They compile friends. They crave intimacy.
When I tried to ask too many questions in the kindest way possible, and I tried to ask questions, I got pushed away, and now there's like a little group of girls that are like against me because of the whole thing. It's like, oh well, and I don't deal with drama at all. And that's another thing you can tell people if they have anything on Facebook: block. Don't get into fights. Yep. Don't even defend yourself. Block. Just get any of that negativity out of it. You don't need it on Facebook. There's enough in real life.
Well, you know what?
That's it.
I appreciate Thea and Suzanne and Susan and anybody else that listened in tonight or came on and talked with us. We're about an hour in right now. I want to follow up tomorrow and do this more because we really, really need to talk about what is going on within this. I want to give details. I want to talk about like the things that are going on with people, stories. I have my story I could even share. So
absolutely.
I hope all of you will join us back tomorrow. Suzanne, thank you so much for calling in. We really appreciate it. I hope you'll come back in tomorrow. Yeah, because like you had some great information. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Thea.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you too. Thea, no, and you know what? Suzanne is sick. I know she has like pneumonia right now.
Pneumonia.
I know. Yeah. So, girl, go get some rest and feel better.
Yes.
I really appreciate coming.
I'm in my lazy boy, so I'm okay.
That's good. That's awesome. I'm getting there as soon as the show's out. I'm in my lazy stuff too.
All right, hon.
All right. Thank you so much to you, Suzanne. We appreciate coming on.
Thank you.
Thea, so
yes.
we're about an hour in, and I don't want to go much more because you know what, we start it's a long time after an hour, and my back's hurting me. I know that. So
me too. But tomorrow I hope that people come back because I think that we really should let people understand what type of stalkers there really are, what type of bullying is going online. Yes. And to be able to hear your story, because your story is something,
it's crazy. I mean, it's like it is 13 crazy. Years of stalking. Yeah.
I can't even imagine anybody being that motivated to stalk somebody for that long.
I couldn't either.
But I think that other people also have a lot of stories that they could share, and it's really important.
Yes, I know a few people will be calling in tomorrow, and I can't wait to hear their stories and just comments about what they think about all this, because, you know, this is a real thing that we all go through. it's not an easy thing. I mean, like, so we get this horrible disease or illnesses or, something turns our life upside down. And then we go on to social media and we go on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever you wanted to go on. And we might, especially within Facebook, there's Facebook groups, Facebook pages, Facebook, all this stuff. And we put our life.
And they have so much of our, all of our information.
Yes, we put our life on there. And we say, okay, you know what? This is me. This is the way I look. This is where I am. This is where I go to eat. This is how I spend my day. This is how I feel right now. And then we go into groups and we say, well, you know what? I had this, treatment or whatever, and it didn't work or whatever. So we're giving people everything of us. And then when somebody goes on there and takes that away and, like, tells us, like, I'm so sorry, that, like, takes advantage of us and, like, says they have what we have, or takes, says, oh, I need money because of my GoFundMe thing when they really don't need it, or something else. And, us people that are dealing with diseases and illnesses and disabilities, we don't have money. We have nothing. All right. Yeah. So we have nothing. And I'm sorry, I'm looking into YouTube right now. I'm talking to them a little bit right now. But, like, man, we have nothing. And I give my money that I've saved up for somebody that I believed that had something wrong. And then I find out I'm not sure. That's a little not cool, And I don't like people that ask for money within our groups. It's not right.
No,
sorry.
Well, absolutely. People really shouldn't be asking for money. And I think that's something that we'll definitely have to talk. No, well, we definitely have to talk about it tomorrow, because I think there's a reason that people do it, and they need to understand why they're doing it. And maybe if they understand why they're doing it, they'll actually find a group that supports them, and they don't have to buy the people to be in their group.
And if they're good people, I apologize, but really, I mean, like, the people I've met, it's like, it's not right. And it's like, I know for me, I could never ask somebody for money, even if I needed it. Like, I remember when I needed money really bad, and that's why I gave to them. I gave to them because I was thinking, oh my gosh, if I was in this situation, which I was before, I would hope somebody would help me. So that's why I did it. But now I realize I was played. I was duped. And it makes you feel stupid, ashamed, embarrassed, not trusting. You don't want to believe in people. You want to go off all of your stuff on Facebook, which I've wanted to go off of all my social media sites when my stalker has bothered me, and I have in the past. And because what I'm doing with Colonation and Conspiracies Against Wellness, I can't now. And I know she's there, and it just bothers me, but I can't do much about it. It's a scary thing. It feels like scary,
Well, so, I think tomorrow we'll actually talk a little bit more about that, or else in October when it's Cyber Month. Is make sure that people know that there are ways that they can combat this and fight this, but also how to keep yourself safe in these support rooms, and to understand how to check your new friend and find out who this person is before you invite them into your life. Because I think that's something that people forget when we're in these support groups. The second we press join, we're inviting that entire group of people into our lives.
That's a good point.
Make sure you know who you're inviting into your life. Just because they're in there does not mean that all of their motives are good. It doesn't mean that they're all bad people, but it may mean that all their motives aren't good.
And it's not even that. People that friend request you on Facebook and stuff like that, like, I have a certain rundown of what I do. I know I talked to you about it and you kind of laughed, but it's true. It's what I do. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow night. I'll go into that. Yeah. But, I want to talk about that. And then in October, yes, we're going to have, like, Susan Pierce on. She came on tonight and kind of, like, teased what she was going to talk about. But, man, her story is nuts. I mean, like, you want to talk about to the full extremes, you won't believe it. I mean, I didn't believe it. When I first met her, she was like, I was looking and Googling the stuff she said. It's real, but it's crazy. And
it's astounding. It really is.
And
it really is. In our preparing for this and preparing for October, I ran across things that just made me go, oh my Lord.
Well, and those doctors, those holistic doctors that are dying, is a part of this. Yeah. That's what's going on right now. I mean, this is that rabbit hole is really deep. So don't think it's just oh, I'm on Facebook or I'm on Twitter or I'm on Snapchat or something, and I have weird people following me, or I actually even have a stalker. But it is even like people are dying from this stuff. That's how crazy this is. And those, I have some professionals that are going to come on. One of them has a PI firm. One of them has been a Navy SEAL. He's going to talk about how to protect ourselves, what we can do if it's happening to us. That's important. And this is going to be in October, because October is Cyberstalking Awareness Month, and I think we need to talk about this. But for at least tonight and tomorrow, we're going to end up soon here, but tomorrow we're going to be talking about my story a little bit more. We're going to finish your story with Kate, because I'm so sorry we had calls and stuff. I want to finish it.
That's okay. I prefer calls.
Yeah. So Thea, would you mind coming back tomorrow night and being our guest co-host again tomorrow?
I'd love to.
Awesome. Okay. Well, Carnation, we're going to say a good night because we're over an hour here. I know everybody kind of gets falling off, and my neck is hurting too. I want to get going too. But come back tomorrow at 8/7 Central. We will be here. If you have, please call in with your questions, or if you want to tell your story or comments, whatever. You could either go on to YouTube stream live off of when you hit shows on our website, or call in at 415-915-2291 or call 1. Please call in. We want to hear your stories. Man, this is like a huge thing. This whole Kate thing blew our community, the CRPS RSD community, in like craziness. Although I have to say, the one thing that was good is the leaders within the groups within CRPS and some of the communities, they started coming together. For some reason, we weren't coming together and working together, but I feel like we are a little bit now, and I really hope we keep doing that, because we need to work together to protect each other, but not only that, to find treatments. You want a cure? Let's do it. All right, so that's what I'm talking about. Last week when we had the Gastropriest community on, I was so impressed with them. I mean, they are together.
Oh, me too.
Yeah,
they are.
It's not like,
they really are.
It's not
it's
like
such a supportive community,
is.
And that's what I'd like to see back in the CRPS support groups.
That's
support, but actual information.
Yes, that's how all support groups.
Let's get rid of the misinformation. Let's get rid of the fake cures. Let's just concentrate on combining all of our information together and making sure that we have stuff to go to our doctors with, or we can say, people are doing this, what do you think about this, to our doctor. But it needs to be true information. It needs to be true support. We need to feel like we have a community that is understanding, accepting of us, and that we can go to a place where we're not being judged, but we're not being bullied for our personal beliefs and thoughts.
And this is the thing I want to say too. Like, I don't mean to put down I'm not putting down the CRPS community, but this is what my real life experiences have been like, and it's not been easy with them. And I don't understand. I saw it really like quickly when I found out I had this. I saw the divisions in all this. I don't get it. And all I'm saying is stop the BS. Let's come together and let's let's figure out what we can do to advocate and spread awareness on this. If you really want to get better, let's figure this out. Seriously. That's how I feel.
Yep.
And
I'd invite all of the support groups, to leaders, the administrators, the moderators, call in tomorrow. Talk about your groups. Talk about the things. Let us know what groups are out there, and so we can sort of start looking for them, because there are so many groups.
Yes.
But if we don't know who's running these groups and which groups are really groups worth getting into, a lot of us are having to go blindly through the pastures and find groups. And I think that if we could just hear from them, find out what types of groups are being offered.
Yeah.
Let's see what type of cyberbullying and stalking is going on within our community, so that we can clean this up, and maybe in the interim we can help other people who are experiencing stalking in a different way. Like I said, my experience has been that. Your experience is another experience. Mm-hmm. But if we can start sharing it, maybe we can put an end to some of this that's going on.
Yeah. All right, Thea. Thea Barnes, thank you so much for co-hosting with me tonight. You're coming on again tomorrow. I'm so excited. And so tomorrow, please call in at 415-915-2291. Call 1 if you want to share your story. I know Sunny Glenn, I want you on. You're going to say some good things. Yeah, she has some good stuff. And anybody else, I'm so excited for you to come on. Thea, I appreciate you coming on with me tonight. You're an awesome co-host. Great information. We need
I'm
to
learning.
talk
I'm
more.
learning.
I know.
Yes.
And we will all see you tomorrow. So have a good evening, Call Nation. Thank you.
You've been listening to Conspiracies Against Wellness with Jonelle Elgaway. Join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern to get in on the conversation. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and callers and not necessarily those of EXG LLC, its employees or sponsors. I'm David Schick.
Copyright 2017 by EXG LLC. All rights reserved.